biggest challenge we face is discrimination. The fact that you walk into a bank and people don't even understand your disability, and some people look at you with disdain. So I had this experience once. I walked into a shopping mall with a few of my friends who are visually impaired, and we went shopping. And the manager of the shopping mall showed up and she was like, "Why are these people here?" I turned around and I'm like, "Excuse me, you? What do you mean by that? So is there any law that says my kind should not be here?
What
And
does she
only people like
what
you
does she mean
deserve?"
by these people?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. What did she mean? What? And when I confronted her, she was like, "Oh, no, no, I wasn't really talking to you." And I'm like, "Do you think because I'm blind, my ears too are now malfunctioning or something?" I believe I could hear you clearly asking your salesperson why we are here. She couldn't say anything and only apologized and said she's worried that we might push something down. I was like, wow, what a way to put it. These are many of the problems we face. And it's just, I would say this is just a minor case. I mean, even in church, we face this. And in relationship is the worst because you meet someone online. Let's start with that. And you like him, likes you, things are going well. And along the line, perhaps maybe you didn't tell him from the very beginning out of fear, because this thing is very common. Sometimes I would say they, or, people like me try to hide it out of fear. I don't want to get dumped. So later on, you find out I'm like this, visually impaired or something. And you say, okay, let's go for a date. So I show up and you see me with a stick. There's that tinge of embarrassment from the person's voice. You can just tell he's not really pleased to see himself standing next to a woman with a stick in the hand, or standing next to a woman who is sitting on a wheelchair and he has to push her to her seat or to whatever location she has to go to. Or maybe she can't hear and he needs to do sign language, or she can't speak. So it's always irritation sometimes we face from these people. And for myself, I've had an experience where I was really into this guy, so into this guy, and things were going well. Then I was a little bit embarrassed to tell people I was visually impaired, especially the male, right?
Okay.
I mean, for the female, it's no big deal. So he was going well with the chat and all that, and we were to meet up. And then I told him, so he doesn't get too shocked. And then it's me right then and there. So I told him, I'm actually visually impaired. He goes, oh, okay. I noticed he doesn't understand. So I told him again, I'm visually impaired. He said, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe he really knows what he's talking about. So we ended up meeting. And, he made a hand gesture. I didn't see it at all.
Oh,
and it's like, I'm trying to stretch my hand to you. You're just standing there looking at me.
Whoa.
And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm actually blind. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm blind. He goes, no, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, for real. He says, why didn't you tell me from the beginning? Oh, you scammers.
What?
You're playing with me.
He called you a scammer?
Yes, he did.
For stating that you had an impairment, you are a scammer.
Exactly. This is just one of it. I mean, I cried on that day, and I'm like,
I'm sorry.
why? I had another one, my ex, who apparently after I got dumped, well, I won't call that one a date. I finally found someone I thought, oh, well, he knows I'm blind. He kind of likes me. But I found that he really didn't like me. But it was for, these new fetish that people have. I didn't know he had one. And he was so curious to know what a blind woman will feel like.
Wow.
And
that's the only reason why he was with you, to satisfy his curiosity.
Exactly. So all along, my mom could tell that this particular guy was not good. She kept telling me he's not good for you, and I'm like, but but if I leave him now, who would date me?
Oh
Like,
dear.
I might be like this for a lifetime. To a point where I almost felt like after this guy, maybe if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna end up with a deaf person or non-verbal person, so I can just live a normal life, and not bother about relationship anymore. So long story short, he showed up, we went on our first date, and the first thing he asked for was, can we go to the
Intimate.
room?
I
And I'm
see.
like, wait, why?
I see.
And he's like, you're a big girl, why are you acting like this? And I'm like, excuse me, this has nothing to do with being a big girl. It's my first date. I can't,
Just
do
jump in,
this.
yeah, get into the bedroom with you.
I mean, and he goes, I don't know why you're like this. I need this. If you want this relationship to work, now he's using emotional blackmail.
Oh.
And out of fear, because I was still at that stage where I really, really was, I would say, gullible.
Okay.
And was afraid to lose him. So I agreed to it.
Oh.
But this was for pleasing him, not pleasing myself. So at the end of the day, I didn't feel nothing. I felt like, oh yeah, it was just a one-off thing, whatever. But I had nothing but regrets because I wasn't pleased. And I could tell he was happy about it. And every time he wanted me to come out on a date, it was nothing more but sex. He just wanted a woman to please him. And with time, I got to understand he had someone else. And he just wanted to know and continue enjoying having a visually impaired woman in his bed whenever he was in the mood.
All right.
And I was just...
But let me ask you, before we go on the break, we have a break coming up in about 2 minutes. I need to ask you. Now,
Okay.
I can hear you, and I'm very sure the listener also is probably hearing the pain and some of the experiences you've had, and they're probably shaking their heads in disdain. But what exactly... would it be too bad or too off for you to, or for anybody who is in your shoe to say, you know what, since regular persons are acting this way, why don't I, why can I, or why shouldn't I just, be with somebody else who is in the same boat that I am in? Why don't I date somebody who is maybe auditory impaired, maybe someone who's deaf, like you said? What's too wrong with that? Are we as a society putting pressure on people like you to marry away or move away from the disability?
To answer your question, I would say it is wrong for both impaired people to be together. No judgment. I'm not judging. But the thing is, look at the scenario. A blind versus a blind. Who would lead who? Who will care for who? If anything were to happen in the house, who will help the other? A lot of dangers can occur. A lot of unfortunate scenes that we don't want could happen. Too many that we will lose count at some point. And may lead to even regrets. Why did I say yes to this? Why did I get involved? What if the kids come in? What will you say? As a woman and a future mother, I haven't seen my kids yet, but I know very much that I love them without them being here. And I will be so hurt to know that I brought them into a world filled with pain. Where they, my children, who I should care for, will be the one to care for me at their tender age. Where they should have a life where their parents should be able to protect them, they're the ones to protect me. So I feel like, yes, in some way, those who are able-bodied people are putting too much pressure and somehow making us come to a conclusion, let's just stick to our kind. And I don't think it's too much pressure for us to leave our kind for an able person. It's a perfect match for a disabled to be with one who has none, because it's perfect. The other can care for you, rather than being with one who's like you. Danger. Think of the dangers. That's where I'm worried about. And it could even, for people like me who have glaucoma, meeting another with glaucoma, my child could inherit it. because it's something that is easy to pass to
To
another
pass
if
on.
both
I hear you. I
have
hear
it.
that. I hear that.
Hmm.
I hear that. All right, Favor, we'll have to go on a quick break, right? When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more, as with regards how we can get people to, see beyond the disabilities, and then we'll open the phone lines. We'll have people engage with us on the program this morning. I hope this sits well with you, please.
Sure.
and thank you for your patience. How are you doing? Good morning.
Very well, thank you, Jude. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so now we have a few minutes, and like I said, I won't want to keep you up too long, and we will be engaging with the listener very shortly. But let's get to the other aspect of our conversation. Yes, you've mentioned discrimination normally as a visually impaired person or as a disabled person in this country. It's been very well documented.
Hmm.
But when it comes to dating, your concern is, individuals who trying to date people to appease their fetishes, whatever they are, their curiosity, to satisfy their curiosity about being with, in your case, a visually impaired person. In some other case, maybe a deaf person or a dumb person or someone who has maybe a limb either gone or something.
Yeah.
So now the question for our next conversation line would be: so those who are in the space, who are willing to date disabled or differently abled people, what are the challenges they
Mhm.
face? I don't know if you know anybody, maybe a friend of yours who's maybe, like, I know you say you have visually impaired friends as well. Are they dating
Mhm.
as well? How are their partners coping? What are the challenges? Do they get looks or stares or comments from their partner's friends? Tell us of their experience or experiences.
Well, thank you. I do have friends who are dating, I would say, able-bodied people. One in particular, I had a conversation with her early this year, and it was a disturbing call, I must say. I'm not so surprised to hear everything she had said. It was just so painful to see another woman like me go through that. She told me she was with this person, and I think for 5 months. The 6 month, he was to come and visit her and see her family. I think
Hmm.
they've gone past the whole dating thing, and it was
Okay.
time for the main thing, which is marriage. And unfortunately, 2 weeks before he arrived, the young man felt it was perfect to call her first thing in the morning and say, "I'm so sorry, my dear. My family wouldn't want a blind woman."
Wow.
And I go, "What?" And she said she pleaded. And he said he tried. In fact, they've been against him from the very beginning. They started dating and he told him about it, but he thought somehow as the month went by, they would have changed their mind. But they didn't change their minds at all. So, what do you want her to do? He said, but we can still continue if
Continue
you
what?
want. But exactly. But it wouldn't lead anywhere. And I told her, I know you're in love with him, but there's a time in a woman's life and in a man's life, in everyone's life, there comes that time where you need to make that decision, a firm decision. And you, my dear, are a woman with qualities. And if a man is not willing to see you for your virtues and is only willing to see one liability, that the society and his family, who are not educated enough to understand where you're coming from and who you are and what they might be missing out in or on, I think what you should do is forget you ever met him. It is the most painful thing to do, but I'm telling you from a place of experience. I have done it. It wasn't easy, but
Hmm.
I needed to do it for my own mental balance, for my own peace of mind, for my sleep at night. Unless you want to continue with this, and look, it will get to a point where you might lose it upstairs. So, best thing, let him go. And she said, after she let him go, a few months later, his friend messaged her and said, my friend is an idiot. I want a chance. If you
Wow.
would give me a chance. Yeah. And they're still dating. I think she says by the end of this year, we should be hearing wedding bells very soon. So
Oh.
another man's food, another man's poison, and another man's poison, another man's food. He missed out. Someone else got her. And there are some of them that, unfortunately,
Hmm.
will also discourage their friends from dating.
Dating.
You know, I, yeah, dating someone with a different ability from them, or looking different, maybe due to the fact that they, apart from the hearing and eye impairments, there's also the facial impairments,
Okay.
which we do not have too much of that here in Nigeria, but it's very popular outside our country. But there are
Hmm.
few of them who have it. Yeah, there's also face impairments where some look very, different from
Yeah.
the normal human face. Yeah. So, she in particular said she was to get married. Actually, not to get married. It was the day of her traditional marriage. And the man in question has no problem, but his family didn't know. He didn't want to tell his family, deep details. He did tell her she was disabled, but he did not tell her how
How?
disabled she was.
What was her?
Exactly.
What was her disability?
She was facially impaired. She
I
had a little
did.
disfigured face. Yeah.
I
So
see.
when he came with his family to, do the rites and all that, his mom embarrassed her.
Oh,
And she
okay.
said, over her dead body, will her son end up with a woman like her? She stood up and asked the family that they should leave. And they left her standing there, watched her groom
And the groom
walk away.
followed the family.
Obviously, because his mom had threatened that she would disown him. And he wanted to be a very loyal son. So he went ahead. These are many of the cases we face.
So what?
Sometimes it's that, yeah.
Yes. So, apologies, please continue.
Hmm. Okay. Sometimes it's that the man is strong enough to withstand to an
Mm.
extent, but not every man is bold enough, or pardon me for using this particular phrase, have the balls enough to say, to hell with my family. I am the one marrying this woman. I will stick with her if this is what I want. And who's not with me should go. And who's with me can stay. Not everyone is bold enough. And I've heard cases of which the man perhaps was with this lady and his friend found the way to convince him. And he thought, oh, yeah, you're right. Will I have a woman in my house? Like one in particular, she said her guy asked her, now that you are blind, how will you take care of the home? Don't you think I should marry another woman and make you the first wife? The other one can be the second wife. Just
Interesting.
imagine the nonsense. How do you
Interesting.
think a woman would feel?
Interesting.
Mm,
All right. So let me ask before we open the phone lines now.
mm,
From a very selfish and personal point, right? That's from you now. I need you to be as subjective as possible. What what
mm.
what one thing would you like to see improve in terms of the dating pool and the way dating is treated or viewed for disabled people in Nigeria? What's the one thing you'd like to see happen?
That will be open-minded people. Open-mindedness. I want them to be open-minded. Be as open as to a point where you don't get shocked. Even if she tells you, I have this. Oh, it's okay. We can give it a shot. You be my first, but I like to learn. I want to know how it works. I want you to teach me how to love one like you. And who knows where it leads us. And be patient. Learn to do it. Give her the exact amount of time she needs. Listen to her when she talks, or listen to him when he talks. Don't give them that weird look, or or God, I beg you, or God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, the blood of Jesus. Jesus is not blooding anything. We're not cursed. We're
Mm.
human beings, flesh and bones. We're not vampires. Be open-minded. You don't even know what you're missing out. I can tell you that we are the most romantic people you can meet with. As much as you feel we are disabled, we are so good. I won't go into too much details, but I'm sure, Jude, you know where I'm heading to.
You have to leave out of this conversation right now. I'm just here as an observer. Yeah, that's my job. I observe. But anyway, let's open the phone lines and let's get thoughts on this and read some of the comments that have come through this morning. Once again, the phone number is 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. As I said earlier on, at Nigeria Info, PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. And then please do send us your messages to 0809-030.
Shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
All right, so Ms. Favor, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, so let's start off with a message here. This one says, Jude, good morning. I have been in the shoes of your visually impaired guest in the studio. Mine, on the other hand, I dated a deaf girl. I had to go and learn the sign language back then to adapt to the changes. Jude, it was so real that at some point in time, I wouldn't even prefer to talk. And I just prefer to use the sign language. It was so real that at the end, I was distraught when I couldn't marry her because of our incompatibility after lab tests. It was so heartbreaking. And by the way, Jude, your guest's voice is so angelic. No name there. Interesting. No name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
I feel for him, having to date somebody and then because maybe the person, like he said, some lab tests were done and we encourage people to do your lab test before you get married. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why he couldn't be with her. Ida is speaking to us from Nkoro. Ida, good morning to you, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
I greet a special guest whose voice is too sweet. Jude.
Yes,
I doctor having a sick malaria, but the voice of this woman don't make malaria don't come up from my body.
Oh, wow.
I beg. This woman, them, you got when she talk, will touch me. Well, if you see somebody online, tell her how you be. Just open up. Just like as I did today, when I want to approach you, I say, see the work why they do, see what they do, see what they do. So when you see me, you know that the kind person I be. I want to commend her, but she know worry herself. This talk she can't talk for Nigerian for today. Anywhere from government she go work, and she will get the better man to marry. Both of them will marry better people. And we'll get better.
Thank you.
God will bless her. Her voice is so lovely. Hi.
All right, it does. Thank you very much. Well, they're swooning over your voice this morning, Favors. There's a sort of swooning and wooning all over the place. Lots of oohs and ahs this morning. All right, we have Miriam on the line from Okrika. Miriam, good morning to you.
Hello, Jude. Good morning.
Good morning to you, please. Welcome.
Wow, Jude. Listening to Jess, I just felt like seeing her. Wow, she speaks so beautifully.
And she's very pretty. I would have to admit she's very pretty.
Wow. Look, Jude. I've watched them kind of social media. We're seeing on social media, outside with the wife. It's not easy for those that are physically challenged, to date and marry. But obviously, we Africans, our mindset has not changed concerning this issue. Now, when she rolls out, just rolling out all the issues the physically challenged women are facing, something just going through my mind. I say, are the men facing the same challenges? Because I think they may not be facing this huge challenge, as much as the women. As long as the man can cater to the girl's needs and a normal girl, maybe, I think the girl is good with him. And as long as he can perform any other duty that she knows she can be satisfied with, trust me, some of them are okay. They don't even look at the challenge. But for the women, it's an issue. And I want to ask, Jude,
yes, please.
These men that come to these women, do they come, because some of them will come with a dubious mind, thinking, okay, maybe they want to just come and eat up something. Maybe if the girl is okay financially, she's doing well. I want to ask, do they come to the ones that is financially fit, good, she's financially okay, even though she's physically challenged, just to rub up, just to get
yes.
her? Or can it be easy? Can it be easy to get the ones that the men come and want to cater to them, face their challenges, and keep putting their resources? It just, honestly, is troubling when I listen to her. But I don't know if I've asked any question on it successfully.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Muriel. Favor, did you get to hear the last caller?
Unfortunately, no. It's been going in and out.
Okay, all right. So let me quickly summarize. Well, she empathized, but she asked, she feels or she assumes that males who are physically challenged, right, don't have it as difficult as females who are physically challenged. She feels that maybe being a woman and then physically challenged, makes it more difficult to date and eventually get married. And then she is also curious, if there are physically challenged women who are financially stable, who have their own money, if they also get to have men who come after them just because of their money. If you have any light to shed on that.
To tell you the truth, she's absolutely correct. The male or the visually impaired male, they don't have issues with dating or marriage or any of that. In fact, I would say they're the most lucky ones in this whole game. Oh, yeah, really? Because I know a whole lot of them that are married to women who are sighted, and some of them are even married to women who are well-to-do, and they are taking care of them. But unfortunately for us, the females, it's a different ball game. So she's correct. And for the other one, to say the truth, they are privileged to be married to a comfortable man, a man who's capable enough to take care of them. And some of them are lucky to marry a well-to-do man. But there aren't many of us that I can count on, or that I know anywhere, that is currently financially stable.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Messages now. Okay, this one says, That's exactly what is typed here, Favor. Yeah, you are good. If I'm not married, I would have looked for you. Just that you may not want me because I don't speak like you. But even at that, I still love you. God bless you, dear. Odinaka from Rumola. That's Odinaka. I'm not sure you're aiming with this, but yeah, we received the message. Now, this one says, whilst I don't have a disability, I do have a medical condition, and I know it's not the same thing. But I feel like some of it is in the mind, some of it is mind over matter. I was advised to keep my condition away from any potential husband. I refused. When my now husband told me he was building his first personal house and some of the stuff he wanted to put inside, I told him straight up, you can't have this cause I have XYZ. Talk about the audacity. Man will never marry me. My money no dey the house. Yet I'm giving him conditions on what he can put in his own house. But I had learned by then to carry myself like a prize. And that's how my husband treats me. None of my relatives has the medical condition, but of the ones that are married, none of their husbands as rich as mine. None of their husbands treat them as well as mine treats me. I know this sounds woo, but carry yourself like a prize. Even when you're disabled, and the world will have no choice but to adjust. Esther Etim with that comment. Thank you very much, Esther. And
Esther.
We would like to wrap up once again and thank you. It's not easy. You took a very bold step to speak to us about this. This is a very personal matter, having your heart being hurt and then telling the whole world about it. Ms. Favor, thank you very much. Very much. I'm very, very pleased to. And I wish you all the best going forward. And like somebody made a prayer for you, the government officials, they should be looking, they must have heard your voice. You will be sought after, and more breakthroughs for you in your field of endeavor, whatever it may be.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you to you and listeners.
All right. Thank
I
you.
enjoyed having this conversation.
Thank you very much for joining us, please. All right. That's a wrap this morning. We'll be back after the break with our buys.